Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Robinson here again. We're continuing our series, The Teacher Time Show. And we're off to the races today because I got an interesting topic. Today we're going to talk about the end of the year, believe it or not, document. So there's a document called the EOY, end of the year, that I want to share with you. So let's get ready. One of my favorite scriptures, which is how I live my life by, Colossians chapter 3, verse 23 and 24. Verse 23 says, "Whatsoever you do, do it heartily, as to the Lord, and not unto men." So when we work for those students, whether they be good students or bad student or whatever wise you would have them type of student, we are working for God. That's the basics of this scripture. And not unto men. I know you get your paycheck and you're happy for it, but it's the man above, God, who will be the one who will reward you. It says in verse 24, "Knowing that the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for ye serve the Lord Christ." So that's a good way to live your life when you're having hard times dealing with the students. Keep that scripture in mind. It's not them you're trying to please. You're trying to please God. Here's another saying I like to encourage myself with. I've learned that people may forget what you said. People may forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. By Maya Angelou, I think this is a very, very true saying. And if you ever bump into some of those students that you had from a long, long time ago, years and years ago, like I've taught some of my students' children. And I ran into one of those people the other day in the grocery store. And he still remembered me. And I'm like, "Hey, how's your son?" And he said, "Oh, he's fine, Dr. Rob. So glad that I had you and my son had you. You were a good teacher." So I'm happy that he has that feeling about me. And I will say, though, I was not everybody's favorite teacher, but I did have a lot of popularity. And when you live in close proximity to where the kids are or frequently visit, you'd be surprised what kind of memories they have about you. So I'm very proud of the good times that my students remember about me. Plus, they have Rate My Teacher on YouTube, on the computer, so you can go to that website and check out what they wrote about you. So we're going to continue with Charlotte Danielson's model for the framework of teacher evaluation, and we've done all 4 parts of it. I mentioned in the last part, Domain 4, the professional responsibilities, would be a little bit tricky for the administrators to write up that part of the observation, and they save it for the end of the year because you had a whole year in your belt, and hopefully you should be able to answer some of the questions a lot deeper. So we're going to continue, and that's what my school, Peekskill Middle School, we use. And if they're on the Manzano, no problem. Maybe we'll pick him up sooner or later and deal with his framework. So, end of the year reflections. So again, I talked about the Domain 4 of the Danielson's model, so you might want to take a look at that video to refresh yourself on what the Domain 4 professional responsibilities are. And as we get into it, here is the document of reflection document annual performance. So they're looking for you to fill out an answer to each one of these 6 questions. So let's break it down part by part. It's going to take a while. I can tell you that now because I tried to make this video into a half hour and it was no way. So my apologies. There will be another part to this. So we had to make a copy of the document, but that way we could upload it and write on it our copy of the information that of our annual performance. So my name is Dr. Daniel D. Robinson. The school that I worked in was Peekskill Middle School. Please pause and reflect on your performance over the past year and record your assessments in each of the following criteria. Your reflection should identify those areas where you have been particularly pleased and those areas where you would have liked to strengthen your performance. Please feel free to attach any documents which support your assessment. So this is interesting because it's like you're doing an observation of yourself and reflecting on what you did over the years. So if you watch my other videos, I gave you some nice pointers on what you should be doing to answer that document. So, question number one, implementation of reflective and responsive practices that demonstrates necessary adjustments are made on a continuing basis to improve the effectiveness of instruction and assessment. Wow, what a question. When I originally wrote the answer to that, and let me just go to it so you can actually see my document. So there's the number 1, and I typed in all of this information, and it filled up 1 page just for that 1 question. Oh, wait a minute, more than 1 page. Oh boy, there's another one down there. I hope I got that in. So, but I'll do my best because I don't want to bore you with this stuff, but it is an important document for you to know about. All right, so I was always very pleased when my students saw my videos, but I told them I live by example. And I won't tell you something to do that I wouldn't do, so I had to study as well. So I wanted to strengthen my knowledge of mathematics. I purchased a learning series called the Simple K-12 Webinar Program, and it allowed me to look at different procedures, strategies, approaches in mathematics to teach it. Excuse me, from using the computer to learn how to use Google Classroom effectively. So one of the videos, by the way, featured student engagement through these educational games. And I was curious what kind of games they were, and one of them was called quizzes. When I got a chance to play it, and this was a couple years ago, and back when I was teaching, I played it with my kids and they loved it. And I said, this is the best thing that could ever happen, where kids are being quizzed and challenged against each other. And they really, really had a good time playing it. And the grades, I noticed, were starting to go up as a result of utilizing this game. Then there was another game I found called Word Wall. I'm sorry, I went to one of our staff development sessions where a nice teacher was telling us about Word Wall, and we should take a look at it. And I shared with the math department these 2 things, and it really took off, especially quizzes. The school did not pretty much know much about that, so I taught my department what we had to do on the game, and they said, hey, this is pretty good. And I also saw some information about the game that would really help me out. So I told everybody, and somebody told somebody else, and they asked, do you only have math in this game? And I said, no, you can have other subjects as well. And I had a lot more people using it than I thought. And it was just spreading throughout the whole school. It was so funny. But as a chairman of mathematics, I had to increase my knowledge of the next generation standards, and I was happy to see that that was included in the game. And some computer-based testing information about the Common Core was there, and I'm like, this is a pretty good game and a very good site. So I also joined many webinars ranging from Google Classroom Management Systems and preparing students to meet the Common Core standards. I also paid for an online class for Spanish, and it helped me further my knowledge so I could teach ELL students, because we have a large population of Ls, and I was glad to further my knowledge and be able to demonstrate things to them which help them understand the mathematics a lot more concrete. So in viewing many videos, I went to the teaching channel website and saw some videos there. I recorded and watched some television programs from Teaching Channel. I learned many approaches to help students deal with the Common Core. So I shared what I learned with other teachers in my department. I went to their classes. I went to the grade level meetings sharing what I learned, and I went to various administrators and shared my knowledge with them. And I ended up giving a workshop, as a matter of fact, on the Google Classroom, and it was during the pandemic. And I was happy to share what I knew about it, and I was really happy that they even thought about choosing me to do the workshop. So finally, I coordinated the textbook vendor to give us some webinars on his textbook, because we just got a new textbook, and we wanted to know how could we best utilize it. So I set up some workshops, and we had a good time learning how to use the textbook, and I loved it myself. It has some good things that reminded me of the IXL program. All right, continuing with question number 1 still. So as a department leader, it was expected from me to model techniques. And excuse me for my water. So I modeled the techniques that I learned from the book vendor, and as well as modeling techniques that I learned from the chairman's department meetings, and I created videos to help the kids and the teachers how to use the textbook. And we even had a program called Delta Math, and I helped with that, creating a how-to video, like how to log into Delta Math for teachers. So if you look, there's my little smiley face down there at the bottom, how-to videos I had in my Google Classroom and other places. 25 videos all in one place on my YouTube channel, Dan Robinson PKMS, how to do things. So if you didn't know how to do it, just click on one of the videos and it will show you how to do whatever I had down there. That was number 1 down and 5 to go. All right, Number two, that was one of my specialties, maintain accurate records. And why do I say it was one of my specialties? Is because I believe in contacting parents very, very frequently so that to keep them in the loop. Because in the end, it's their child that they want to succeed. And I let them know, look, it's a partnership. I'm not in it by myself, I'm in it with you, so we got to work together. So to maintain accurate records, first thing I did was I purchased a Scantron to grade my tests. And I know you may think that's different, but I like to use the Scantron quite frequently because I believed in giving a lot of quizzes, like my social studies teacher did when I was in high school. He gave a quiz every single day, and he marked them so quickly and gave them back the very next day. I was really impressed with him, Mr. Duffy. Hats off to you, shout out. And I was thinking if I did the same thing as he did, the kids would know their grades in advance, and they would be able to see how they're doing and whether they need to work harder or they could cruise to an easy grade, but they knew where they were based on the tests that were returned to them. So I had a lot of students, so that was one reason why I bought the machine, to help me grade the tests. So for the past 38, really 40 years, I returned the test the very next day so students can get immediate feedback, because it was about the feedback and the assessment that I needed to know how the kids were doing, because that's would drive my instruction. So if the whole class ever failed the test, I got to go back and look at that document. So I went back and I would look at my documents. The good thing about the Scantron, it gave me reports that I could use, letting me know averages, reports on error analysis. I could find out what was the question that mostly everybody got wrong, which allowed me to focus in on those types of questions. So I enjoyed my Scantron machine, and I also purchased Moat software. That allowed me to communicate through a link, and it's free now, I believe, for like a month or so, and you can use it to communicate with your parents. And what was nice, it allowed you to use different languages, and you could write it in text, and the text would show up. A little link turns into text, or you could just have it where the person would listen to your voice or some voice saying what you wanted to say. So Moat was a very good program, Moat.com. I recommend it highly. And here's some more on maintaining those records. Here's some tools that I use on top here on the left side of the two. This is the Smart Notebook icon, which allows me to do what I'm doing now, because if you look at this stuff up here, that is the Smart Notebook page. So I use that even though I'm retired. Yes, I still use it. Very good software. As the educational tool for my lesson, the response software. What do you mean response? These little clickers up here to the right are the response clickers, the smart response clickers, and boy, were they the best thing next to a computer you could have. Had the whole keyboard on there, and it was very, very good at taking in. You would ask a question, the students would have to submit their answer, and you end up getting data, so much data. It was really overwhelming that you got to find out a lot more than you thought. Like, for example, I had students who did not like to take tests or wanted to be the first one finished, and I would look at their score, and I'm like, how did you finish this in 5 seconds? There were 20 questions, and you finished in 5 seconds? And they would look at me like, how'd you know it took 5 seconds? And I would point out in the report, I said, there it is right there. It tells me how long you took to do this assessment. And when I mentioned that to the math department, they said, hey, that's a very powerful tool you got there. So it was worth the investment, and I'm sorry they don't still use it now, but everybody has a computer, so you can still use the software. It's just no longer the clickers. So let's see. So, I like the Smart Response clickers. It was an integral part of my class because it took the students' attendance. And I assessed instructional activities, determined if objectives were being met, utilized it for homework, tests, class activities, and discussions. That Smart Response was very, very helpful. Let's see, I viewed videos of the report feature, which allowed me to see my reports, like the times and which, again, like the Scantron, allows me to see what was the question the majority of the class got wrong. I was able to print out circle graphs, bar graphs, this of the information of tests. So I really like my investment because I invested a lot of time in learning the Google Classroom for Mathematics, but the Smart Responses were very, very helpful to me. And when we switched over to the Google Google Suite for everything, I still had a good time with them, but due to the pandemic, it was a little bit costly because the students weren't there, but it was a good thing that I was doing videos that I viewed and sent to the kids through Mote, and that way they can keep up with what was going on. Here are some pre-tests that I used, a Google Doc. And if you're not using those Google Docs, I recommend you start using them because you can get a pre-test and it'll tell you how the kids did. And again, like the Smart Response, it did it instantaneously and it saved the teacher a lot of work. But I was also interested in some other information, like how were they feeling when they took the test that day. Like here, somebody was feeling, it says choice was D, A all the way through, I think, F. I had answers for, so if you were down underneath C, then there was something wrong. And I would read what was going on, like how's the group going so far. They would say fair, or there was one bad, I want to change my group. And I'm like, who is that? Angelina wanted to change her group. So I needed to get in there and find out what's going on, and because this is the post-test, I expected more than a 15, so something had to be done. So that was a good thing about the Google Docs. It allowed you to check out their information. And where am I? Oh, I'm up to number 3. Question number 3. That's what I'm saying. This is not going to be done in one video. I have to definitely take my time to show this stuff off. So number 3, communicates with families, providing information relating to instructional program as well as individual student achievement. So I'm not going to go too much farther than this because I see I'm running out of time. But when I communicate with the families, I like to do it at different ways. My first way would be to write a progress report and put some information into it, like, oh, your child is doing so good. Here's a video they can watch for the next lesson, and I'll give them extra credit for participating in the class's lesson. So parents responded to that, and I'm talking about I'd be writing early in the morning, like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. in the morning. On the weekends, I'd be writing, and I would get responses back from the parents, and they would say, "Oh, thank you for sharing this with me. I won't let my child go out until he finishes your video." and they would write me notes like that, and I said, "Oh wow, I didn't know people are up this early in the morning too. I thought I was the only one." But I like talking to parents on the telephone or communicating through the email because I know they're busy. I try to get to the point, but contact with parents is very important. And I did one of the other tutorial videos, and I'm going to stop in just a second, but I'm going to pick up here about the stuff you see on the bottom, the math time show that I have, and I also have the teacher time show, which you guys are a part of, and I'll talk about that. So I'm going to stop right here because I have a stop sign. And if you want to see more of Dr. Rob, check out my YouTube channel. It's called Dan Robinson PKMS, Peekskill Middle School. And subscribe to our channel. Help us to get over 2,000. So that's my goal, to try to get over 2,000 subscribers. So give us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing. And definitely write us a comment. So definitely write us a comment, and I do write back. You can see our latest, one of our math prep movies, Math Prep 21. That's now in YouTube. A few years ago we made that. You can X me at drobmath1. Watch our show Teacher Time, Tuesdays on Cablevision, 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And I've been blessed with other channels. It used to be only Peekskill, but now you can see us in Ossining and Peekskill on Channel 15, in Yorktown, Channel 74, New Rochelle, Channel 76, and only on Optimum. Sorry, I'll look for the other modes and try to get them on, get my Math Time show on there and Teacher Time too. So you can watch Math Time on Tuesdays from 4:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. on the same channels, by the way, and there it is up there in Spanish, Optimum Cablevision, mismos canalidades. If you want more information, write me at robinsonmath@aol.com. I'll be glad to send you some more of what we got. So thank you for checking out our Teacher Time show, and thank you for your time with me on my time. Take care.